Good afternoon. The meeting of the Atlantic County Board of Commissioners is called to order. In compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act of the State of New Jersey, adequate notice of this meeting of the Atlantic County Board of Commissioners was provided in the following manner. Published in the Press of Atlantic City and mailed to the Hamilton Gazette, and has been posted on the bulletin boards in the county office building in Atlantic City, Stillwater Building in Northfield, and the county clerk's office in Mays Landing. Is there an opening prayer?
Yes. Dear God, as we come before you today, may our actions be guided by fairness, integrity, and compassion. We ask for your blessing upon this meeting so that it may be productive and harmonious. In your name we pray, amen.
Amen.
All right, please face the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Chairman, Commissioner Ruffey is unable to attend today, and Commissioner Gatto is attending virtually. Bertino,
Here.
Burns,
Here.
Days,
Present.
Gatto, Kern,
Here.
Parker,
Present.
Risley,
Here.
Days.
Here. Commissioners have had an opportunity to review the minutes from September 16th, 2025. I will entertain a motion to adopt the September 16th minutes as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Please call the roll.
Bertino,
Yes.
Burns,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Gatto, Kern,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
Days.
Yes. The Board of Commissioners will continue to utilize a consent agenda format for sections of the agenda that the commissioners do not feel need additional discussion from the board and are not contested. This consent agenda format allows the meetings to run more efficiently and productively so that we can spend additional time during the meeting discussing other important issues that are not as routine. If any commissioner wishes for additional discussion on any resolution or would like a resolution to be pulled from the consent format to be individually addressed for any reason, please advise and we will do so. For the public, prior to the roll call on any resolution or group of resolutions, you will continue to have an opportunity to comment if you wish to do so. Anyone attending in person who would like to speak regarding an agenda item or a public comment, please come to the podium, speak into the microphone, state your name and the town where you reside. You'll be provided up to 3 minutes to speak. If you are attending virtually and would like to speak, please raise your hand during the agenda item or a public comment at the end. I will call your name and a request to unmute will be sent. Please state your name and the town you reside. You'll be provided up to 3 minutes to speak. Right, and at this time, we have a couple presentations on today's agenda. First will be the library catalog update.
Library.
Matt DeBello, Director of Atlantic County Library System.
Hi, good afternoon, all of you. I'm Matt DeBello. I'm the Director of the Atlantic County Library System. This fall, the Atlantic County Library System is excited to announce that we will be moving to a new library catalog provided by Bywater Solution called COA Aspen. This new catalog will be launched on October 20th to the public. In preparation for this launch, all Atlantic County libraries will be closed to the public on Saturday, October 18th. And this will be for final preparation for launching our new catalog on Monday, October 20th. So we're going to have to close our branches on Saturday, the 18th. A big motivation to move to new library catalog was that starting in 2026, this new catalog will save the library's annual budget over $82,000 a year. Okay. And I'm now going to introduce our Assistant Director, Aubrey Hires. She's going to go over some of the new features in this library catalog that the public are going to be able to utilize. Aubrey?
Awesome.
So the library catalog will allow everyone on October 20th to download a new app. It's going to be a lot prettier. It's going to be easier to use. I think our public is really going to enjoy it. Families will have the option of parents going on and attaching their accounts with the children's accounts. So you can keep track of where all the books in the household are when you have 30 items held across the family. And so there's a lot of little things that will be great bonuses in addition to the financial savings. As of October 1st, holds for any new items have been put on hold. So people won't be able to put holds on items that will be coming up between now and the release of the new catalog. But a little minor inconvenience, if any of your neighbors happen to mention that, we'll be able to get going with that again on October 20th. And hopefully everyone enjoys the new catalog system. If you get any feedback about it at the end of the month, feel free to reach out to us. We'd be happy to smooth out any issues people might have.
Very good. Thank you. Are there any commissioner questions, comments?
Does everybody have to, you use your same card? Do they need new cards for the new app?
You won't
I'll
need
use the
a
same
new
number.
library card. No, but you will need to download a new app if you're going to use it on your phone. But no, you won't need a new card. We're going to pop all that data right over into the new system.
And the app's the COA Aspen, is it under that app?
You'll find it under Atlantic County Library
Okay.
System, starting October 20th. And we'll definitely get out all those promotional materials before that. We just wanted to give you a heads up.
Thank you.
So we're getting a better app, more efficient app, and it's saving us money. Is that what I'm hearing? Is that in a nutshell what I've heard?
That is
Nice.
absolutely correct.
That is outstanding.
Yes.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Next on today's agenda, we have a 911 centralized dispatch update by Atlantic County Fire and EMS.
Anything you can do online.
No, we have to watch for the camera. All right. Well, good afternoon, everyone. I think I know everybody. My name's Howard Birchtold. Of course, I told Mr. Del Russo for 42 years. I was in this building representing the court system for Atlantic and Cape May counties, but I retired as chief court executive. 3 years retired, yay. So that was a passion of mine, but actually, I'm going to even say a greater passion of mine has been serving in the fire service of Atlantic County for 47 years. And I know I don't look that old, but yes, 47 years in various leadership capacities. Danny Adams is going to co-present with us. A lot of you know Danny Adams. Also, we all wear multiple helmets in the fire service. But Danny, of course, is very active in the leadership of Atlantic County Fire Service, but he's the chief of the Margate City Fire Department, but also certainly has EMS in the city of Margate, which is important to this. And he also serves in a leadership capacity with Longport as a volunteer with Longport Fire Company. We could have easily filled this room and then some, because we're pretty passionate on this topic, as you know. But it really is important. I know we're going to just take a few minutes, even though most of you have been around this block plenty of times, and we respect that. We really do. But you know that I'm really passionate about this. We just did bring a couple of key representatives to just show you how much the fire service, even though daytime meetings, yay, but we still happy to say that President of the Atlantic County Firefighters Association is Chuck McIntosh. He's here. Fire coordinator, Chip Stockton, which many of you know, the fire coordinator position is also a volunteer position that works with the division of, we report to the Division of Fire Safety. I'm also one of the deputy fire coordinators, as is Danny. I'm surprised Chip is here because we'll bring it up in a little bit, but the fire service was incredibly busy. Unfortunately, Frog Rock Restaurant in Hamilton was just about completely destroyed 2:30 this morning. We'll talk about the challenges that presented. Unfortunate for Frog Rock, but kind of fortuitous that we can bring up all the communication issues that presented. But fortunately, there was no life loss. But Chip was very busy with my health concerns. I wasn't able to be there. This is Butch Kinsley. He's chief of the Egg Harbor City Fire Department, but he's also president of the Atlantic County Fire Chiefs Association. John, you all know John Gary. We asked, and John has been a huge assistance with us. He's the radio coordinator administrator. And I believe an official title now is 911 coordinator too for the county, which, by the way, to county government, incredible resource. We just want to tell you he's an incredible resource to us. Vince Jones, as you know, retired, but Vince has been at all of our meetings. We appreciate he's on board with this working now in his retirement. Oscar Dutch, nobody knows Oscar Dutch, but Oscar's here. Oscar is obviously, I guess if I look around, Oscar and I combined probably have 100 years of the fire service. But Oscar and I have been worked together I've actually been chair of the executive committee. It's handed off to me from some guy named Tony Canali. That's how long I've been chair of the executive committee in Atlanta County for the fire service. So, but Oscar and I have been partners forever. This is just a few of our people. Believe me, we turn people away. Chuck Ewell, who's the assistant chief of the Oceanville Fire Company, but he also is chief of EMS in Galloway Township, and he has many state positions in the EMS community. He couldn't be here today because he's on a statewide drill, but I can assure you EMS is fully in on this with the fire service also. I apologize for taking that time, but I think I wanted you to know the importance, and each of these folks represents about 60 people behind them. That's how passionate we are on this topic. We just wanted to thank all of you, Atlanta County. This is my fourth time in my 47 years discussing central dispatch. This is the first time that I've been able to really kind of go full speed ahead since I don't have any conflicts of interest representing other forms of government. So it felt good to be able to wear a fire shirt here today. But this is the fourth go around. Many of you will remember it was a big go around 10 years ago. The last major study was 2015. We thought we had it done for a whole host of reasons. I'm always one, I don't like to look backwards. I always told people that work for me in government, we don't look backwards, we look forward. You know, we can't, no more blame, let's just move forward and get things done. That's the way we like to operate. We really want to thank, of course, the freeholders and now the commissioners for all your support over the years, but particularly the current board. You've been very supportive of our desire, working with Tim Kreischer. Tim's been fantastic in his role with consolidation. I forget his official title. He'll remind me. Whatever it is, Tim. But Tim's actually been, we started this up again 4 years ago. It's going to be 4 years ago. We approached county government, kind of a partnership to say to the county executive, can we look at central dispatch again? By the way, with a little exception, we're the only county in the state of New Jersey that does not have central dispatch. I repeat that. We're the only county in New Jersey that does not have central dispatch. Most of the other states, all of Pennsylvania, all of Delaware, because of something we're going to talk about, which is Next Gen 911, we need to get this done now, and the communities need to support us, or we're going to really be behind the times. And it's about life now, not just property. It's about life, but it's really important. We want to thank Director Fedorko. He's been at the table, not only in his current capacity, but a wealth of knowledge with the state police. I don't need to tell you how long the state police have had central dispatch. He reminds us all the time how long they've had central dispatch. But again, we want to thank Mr. Del Rosso for his continued support, and certainly to the county executive. We did meet with Mr. Levinson probably late spring, and we gave him a very similar presentation to this based on the feasibility study that you authorized, ADCOM, which is the national leader in public safety communication. You were fortunate to award the contract to ADCOM. You all received that report. Very extensive feasibility. We hate to even use the word feasibility because we know central dispatch is feasible. It needs to happen. But yeah, very detailed report. We're not going to get into that. You've had it. We hope that we get into more detail as we maybe get out to the communities and speak to the public, because we believe we have your support. But when we met with the county executive, we further just discussed maybe we needed to get a little bit more drive into what some of the costs are, particularly because of Next Gen 911. I hope you've had a chance to look at that report that ADCOM, you again authorized, I believe, an additional $10,000 to pay for that additional study. You have a copy of that report. Danny, more so than me, because I'm losing my voice. We're just going to hit a couple of high points, I promise. We could take hours, because many of us have spent a long time on this in our careers. But again, that study just showed the important thing, which we'll bring up again. Next Gen 911 is the new technologies that most of the states, major parts of the country are going into. That's the technology that we need to go to. It's not an option. It's federal law, it's state law. The state government is actually going to pay for portions of this to the different dispatch centers. Unfortunately, I mean this ever so respectfully, the dispatch centers in Atlanta County, the dispatchers, I mean this, they do an incredible job. An incredible job. People sometimes think that we're taking shots at that. We're not taking shots at dispatch centers. We don't know how they do their jobs. But right now we have 13 different points of contact in Atlanta County. We call them PSAPs, Public Safety Answering Points. Public Safety Answering Points. So if you hear the acronym PSAPs, that's what that means. Right now there are 13 different PSAPs in Atlanta County. We'll bring it up again. I said I was going to be short. It's not going to work. It's at the minute that, remember, most of us don't even have landlines anymore. I don't know about you. I still have a landline. I'm 66 years old, but everybody's using cell phones now. Everything is cell phones. Right now, you place a cell phone call, it goes to a cell phone tower. That cell phone tower is now trying to figure out where should that 911 call go. Okay, where is it going to go? You may be in the town of Hamilton. It may hit a cell phone tower in Hamilton. It may hit a cell phone tower in Mullica Township. It may hit a cell phone tower at the state police barracks in Buna. It doesn't know where. So 2, 3, 4 times people are answering a call to get resources motivated. We have examples, and we only bring on, we're not going to go through too many. We have them for future meetings. We have examples where it's taken 4, 6, 8, 11, 12, 13, 15 minutes to get an ambulance to somebody's house. It's not just about fire. It's about, right now, 4 to 6 minutes is the time you have if somebody's having a heart attack. 4 to 6 minutes. And we have example after example. Come down 206 in Hamilton and say that you don't even know where you are. Say, Hamilton, where are you? Hamilton Township? Are you in the township of Hamilton? 3, 4, 5 times calls are being transferred. Under the new technologies, this has to be centralized. It has to be centralized. It has to be centralized. Again, we truly want to thank all of you. I want to emphasize that we, and again, many of us have been so thankful to Atlantic County. I was on the original committee that created the Canali Training Center. All right, we've gone through so many good things. The training in Atlantic County for our fire EMS, career and volunteer, by the way. We're not just here as volunteer. We work so beautifully with the career departments in Atlantic County now. I didn't see that 40 years ago. All right, now half of the career firefighters along the shore are also volunteer firefighters. We work so well together. This includes ultimately the career firefighters too. There isn't a fire in Atlantic City that I can assure you most of our companies aren't in there. Immediately you got to work in fire in Atlantic City. Absecon's going, Ventnor's going. But a lot of all of our companies are going in. So it's not just volunteer, okay? Communication has been wonderful thanks to you. I think we've really worked well together, and that's because of the training. The quality of training in Atlanta, and I chair the training advisory board too for the fire service. Quality of training in Atlantic County is second to none. I mean that. Our instructors are trained nationally. He's one of them. All right. We are so thankful. We're thankful for John, to Vince Jones, for the 800 megahertz system. 10 years ago, I was one of the first chiefs when I was chief in one of the Galloway companies. I was one of the first chiefs that used the 800 megahertz system. You've heard that before. Did we have little problems with it? Yeah. But Atlantic County, you worked with us. You worked with us. And now everybody's using the 800 system. So we've really, really come such a long way. The foundation is there. We can't continue to be the last. With the tech center out there, which, by the way, they have their own communication center. This morning at the fire in Hamilton, calls had to be made to get resources from the fire departments on the airbase. They come out and help us. They were in Hamilton this morning. 3 phone calls later. Phone calls. If Chip didn't have a cell phone, our fire coordinator, if the cell phones go down, he's making most of the calls because we just got to get around all this. He's got to make cell phone calls to get our resources moving. And again, volunteers. We're very blessed to have beautiful, thanks to you. You've assisted us in funding our Firefighter One training. You pay for the Firefighter, Atlantic County residents. You pay for the Firefighter One training. Not all counties do that. We're getting volunteers. Unfortunately, because of work schedules, you get a major fire, we need 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 fire companies moving at the same time. And therein line talks about why. Yes, we have a great Hamilton Township Dispatch Center. We have a great Egg Harbor Township Dispatch Center. We have a great Galloway. We have all the shore communities. But unfortunately, it's incredibly fragmented. It's incredibly fragmented. It's broken. It's got to be fixed. People are gonna. We've been fortunate that big hurricane hasn't hit here. It's not just about fire. I can't believe how many times I was as a court administrator waiting for that big one to hit. Thank God. We've seen it, but we get a major weather incident here. Forget it, folks. Forget it. As public safety, we cannot operate with this continued broken dispatch system. I'm going to just let Danny run through some of our slides because he knows, I'd go on until 7 o'clock tonight.
Thank you. And just to echo some of the things that Howard said, this is important to all of us. We all took part in these committees going back 4 years ago. Many meetings, many hours, many missed meals, many missed, family events just to be a part of this. And think about the time that the effort that these volunteers specifically put into their communities for nothing. Well, I shouldn't say nothing, because it's the pride in the service. It's the pride in doing the job. It's the pride in helping your community that makes us want to do this each and every day. Hey, I could be retired now already in the Margate Fire Department, but I love going to work each and every day. And I love being a part of the community and love being able to help people. To get on with this, we'll slide to the next slide. The goals of the study, when we look at this overall, was to improve emergency response first and foremost, enhance service delivery for fire and EMS, protect lives and property, streamline operations, protect property, I said that in the other one, and protect the lives of both career and volunteer firefighters. We say that, but we also have to include our EMS partners in this. And we're here for them as well, to assure that we provide the best services possible. When we talk about the current system, Howard touched on this. There's 13 independent PSAPs and dispatch centers. Space constraints, operational limitations, 911 call confusion, delayed responses because of that. When we look at staffing, I love our dispatchers to death in the city of Margate, but sometimes they're not staffed fully and adequately like they should be. And you think about the influx of people we've had in our communities over the past few years, especially during the height of the summer season, it far exceeds the capabilities of what they're able to do. So they're great in what they can do and what they can get out, but we need more help. We need more efficiency. We need a centralized center. Also, the problem is in a high stress environment, it's hard to keep these dispatchers employed due to the environment that causes high stress on them, and the turnover is quite frequent. I think our senior dispatcher in Margate, granted we had ones that lasted for over 40 years, I think our senior dispatcher in Margate has 6 years experience. That's where this has gone over time as far as the turnover and trying to keep people involved. The technology, different technology in each PSAP creates interoperability. It's 2025. It's time for everything to be streamlined and be part of everybody being part of the same. There's no reason to have 10 different systems operating in a system where we're in one county. Inconsistent dispatch standards, fragmented communication policies creates inefficiencies and delays in dispatching, staffing, and equipment. So these are just some of the real life experiences, and I'm just going to touch on a couple of them. A fire incident in Longport back in October 26, 2024. We had multiple mutual aid entities involved, and each time we had to call for a different one, the communication center had to call them by phone to activate them to get them to respond. You're talking about a delay in response. When I requested as the incident commander 3 municipalities to respond simultaneously, that took 3 phone calls from that dispatch call taker to call those communities independently to assure that they were getting the information to respond to that call. The delay in response creates a delay in the fire, which creates a bigger fire and a bigger problem. The last one I'm going to touch on here on this page is the EMS incident in Mullica Township. This one was someone who was involved with our committee. It was close to them, the person. The 911 call that was made was dropped 2 times before the 3rd time the call went through, and they were able to get the information. So the delay in that response due to that call ineffective or inefficiency of that 911 call could have been the difference between life and death.
Just one, and again, I mentioned it before, but it's really important since this happened less than how many hours ago. Butch was there at the fire this morning at Frog Rock. Chip, and he has copies for all of you of the amount of resources that needed to be coordinated this morning. Now, granted, probably weren't going to save that building. I mean, the investigation's still active, but it was a very big explosion. That building, unfortunately, that restaurant, Frog Rock, was basically fully involved when the first resources got on scene from the town of Hamilton. But when they needed to start, you still, at our point, first thing is command there, got to make sure there's no lives, right? And then you start looking to exposures even before you start trying to put a fire out. So the exposures, 45 golf carts, by the way, destroyed. They were parked up close to the building. The entire building was gone. Huge ball of fire. But they needed to get on the scene Woods Fire was happening. They needed to get tankered. There was one hydrant, by the way. One hydrant is out close to the pipe. They had to use tankers. You start calling resources. Chip, I know you're going to hand out the report, and I know we have to keep going. I mean, in addition to just Atlantic County resources, which probably 7 or 8 dispatch centers, right? Needs to be 7 dispatch centers just in Atlantic County to get resources moved. That, and also MedCom. MedCom, member now with Atlantic Care. When you start getting EMS, then we got to communicate with MedCom. Get the base had to be coordinated. So, but in addition to the resources, remember a lot of the western end of Atlantic County, I'm not going to say unfortunately, because Gloucester County has central dispatch. I think you know this, but a lot of our western end, the Bunas that over, they're getting dispatched by Gloucester County right now. It's a shame that they're paying Gloucester County to get dispatched, you know, and then we have to communicate them with Gloucester County, how to communicate with Camden County, how to communicate with Burlington County. Keep going. Which, by the way, all those counties I just mentioned are central dispatch. Just think about so just this morning, unfortunate for Fraud, but again, fortuitous for this conversation, Chip has an incredible report of how many resources, but he was on, and I was listening. Again, I'm not allowed to respond right now, but I was listening to the amount of effort. Just think if that would have happened, and those tanks could have exploded with that restaurant fully. With people in there. I don't even want to think about how many people have lost their lives. Okay, so just this morning, we have the perfect incident, albeit that caused so much damage. Sorry.
No, that's okay. So, you know, Howard spoke about Vince Jones and Chuck Yule and their experience, especially on the EMS side. And Vince brought a wealth of knowledge to us and was very helpful in this whole thing. But we asked them for some of the EMS challenges to assist us with this. And when you look at this, the Atlantic County EMS agency answers tens of thousands of calls for service each year. Many agencies are required to talk to multiple dispatch entities depending on the town they're responding to. This creates a situation where EMT's safety comes into account due to the constant radio switching. I just was involved with a meeting for the Atlantic City Marathon, which is coming up next weekend, and talking with the Med Pro Cycle, whoever's running the event for EMS for them. If they have to call any of the entities, they're calling 5 different dispatch centers just for this one thing, for one event. You got Atlantic City, Ventnor, Margate, Longport, and MedCom. So you're talking about 5 different entities for a potential medical emergency during an event. Now, granted, we have channels and we operate together, but this is just some of the things we look at. On December 24th, 2025, the Galloway Township Ambulance Squad was dispatched to a 13-car motor vehicle accident. It took more than 30 minutes for a mutual aid ambulance to arrive and assist Galloway EMS. While this seems like an EMS issue, and to a degree it is, our communications supervisors were forced to call multiple dispatch agencies only to be able to get one out-of-county EMS agency to assist. Most of the 30 minutes were spent on the phone. A centralized dispatch center would be able to reroute EMS agencies appropriately based on the severity of the call, and the current system has no way of doing this. Think about that too. You have a county system. Each vehicle is going to be on a GPS coordinates. If they're coming back from a call, you could potentially send that unit that's closest to that area for that response if we're all operating in one centralized dispatch center. Another thing is municipal dispatch centers that receive the initial 911 call must question the caller to the type of emergency, then enter the information into the respective CAT. This takes time. But understand, for an EMS call, they do not directly dispatch. They must now transfer that call. They took all the information. Now they're transferring that call to another entity, and they have to take that information all over again. This is a delay in potential service for the people. And we're all here for the same reason. We want to provide the best service to the people, regardless of what that is. And remember, when Mrs. Jones calls or Mr. Smith calls for an ambulance, they don't care who's coming. They just want to know that someone's coming in a timely manner that can make a difference. And think about this, when we talk about, CPR training, that 4 to 6 minutes. If this call takes longer than 4 to 6 minutes and that person is without oxygen or oxygenation to their brain for 4 to 6 minutes, their chances of survival have decreased dramatically. And for us, it's all about life safety. It's all about providing the best service possible. Centralized emergency dispatcher is a solution. We talked about this as plan A and plan B, and I'll let Howard echo a little bit on this as well. Plan A, a centralized emergency dispatch, universal call center for all police, fire, and EMS services. Plan B would be a centralized countywide dispatch center that would become the primary PSAP for emergency calls related to fire, EMS, and law enforcement. This center would directly handle all emergency 911 calls with dedicated call takers. Dedicated county dispatchers will dispatch fire and EMS with seamless integration for transferring law enforcement calls to secondary PSAPs. So do we understand what we're talking about when we say the Plan A and Plan B as far as the difference? Plan A is just everything together. Plan B, which is where we initially were taking our study and information to, was to have the county dispatch center handle the 911 call and then dispatch fire and EMS or transfer that to police. So that's where we stand today. And I don't know if you want to echo or add anything to that.
And I know, and folks that have been a part of this meeting are going to say, what's the difference? Well, ideally, we want everybody.
We do.
But we do know, and some of you, I'm looking at Commissioner Risley and a few of the others that have been around the block with us many times on law enforcement. And hey, look at my career that I had. Utmost respect for law enforcement. But right now, law enforcement generally controls the dispatch centers in the communities. They really still want to keep, again, respectfully, that little bit of separation. They want to hold on. They want to hold on to that. But some of the reasons for that are long gone. Dispatchers don't live in the communities anymore, I can assure you. With current technology, I don't even know where the streets are in Galloway anymore. It's growing. I live in Galloway, okay? If it wasn't for GPS and all the technology. But the point is, law enforcement, and by the way, and Director Fedorko will tell you this, we truly believe that the law enforcement community is shifting, if you will, but we just can't wait any longer with next gen coming this way. So that's why we, as a working with AdCom, incredible people, we just said, one, let's at least try to get a central call center coming. And not, if all 23 municipalities don't come on board right away, and they won't, we know that. And by the way, we visited, a lot of us visited a number of the other counties. You're welcome to visit the other counties. Camden County, I can assure you, City of Camden didn't come in right away. We visited Mercer County. I can assure you, Trenton didn't come in right away. Things happen in time, but you got to build it. I know the cliche, build it, they will come. But the point is, we just said, we, as law enforcement hopefully comes on board, but let's get a central call center to get as many of those 911 calls coming in so you don't have to go through what I said at the very beginning. It triangulating to find out where it is. One call coming, train call taker, how to give CPR if you have to. Okay, train call takers. They would then dispatch, as Danny said, as much of fire and EMS as possible. And then even if they have to transfer a call out to a municipality, say it's in Margate that maintains their own dispatch center for law enforcement, at least it's only one phone call. That call taker has already got the information, and through technology, they're going to be able, through computers, and John is the expert on that, through a computer transmission, they'll have all the information. No law enforcement is going to be concerned about delay in that. Truly, it's going to be far, far, far better than what we have right now. That's the difference between A and B. Okay, so we're still proposing central call taking in both, but if law enforcement isn't ready to come full speed, most of the fire and EMS community is. That's the difference.
So Plan B solution benefits: optimize 911 call handling, enhances response capabilities while supporting existing PSAPs, creates specialized fire and EMS trained dispatchers, streamlines communication for mutual aid and large scale incidents, provides redundancy layer for primary PSAPs to ensure service continuity, improves situational awareness for better decision making, faster response times through unified dispatch, and operational efficiency through enhanced training. So when we look at some solutions, results, and challenges, when we look at results, we have a safer environment for firefighters and EMS communities and the general public. We have seamless data sharing through CAD to CAD interoperability. We ensure law enforcement agencies receive immediate and accurate information, enhancing situational awareness, establishes a framework to accommodate law enforcement's future participation, and cost efficiencies through shared service infrastructure and resource optimization. And again, I'm going to let John talk about that in a second when we talk about next gen 911. Challenges: finding sufficient space in an existing facility, capital investment for a new facility, We talked about that with the last project, and that was part of the biggest downfall, was how much that new facility was going to cost. Acquiring buy-in from elected officials, and we need to establish clear operational coordination with primary PSAPs. Benefits to municipalities: eliminate the redundancy for each to purchase costly next-gen technology, create a specialized fire EMS dispatch center better equipped to handle dispatching to ensure proper staffing and equipment are provided to handle all types of incidents in a timely manner, ensuring fire and EMS calls are handled in an expeditious manner. We want to make sure that we're providing a safe environment for our firefighters and first responders. Separate fire and EMS dispatching allows local PSAPs to concentrate and handle law enforcement incidents. If this were the case moving forward and law enforcement stayed separate, PSAP centers would be able to handle their calls, but the fire and EMS side will be handled by the county dispatch. John, I want to let you talk a little bit about the next gen side, because you're definitely more of an expert than I am when it comes to this.
Again, we know we're taking some time, but this is important. Just since we last met, Don's been attending state meetings. State's going on. Explain a little bit about what Next Gen 911, again, it's a mandate.
Correct. Good afternoon. Basically, I guess I'll start outside the slide with where the state is and what the state plans. At this point, the state has Atlantic County slated for 2026 to 2027 to move to Next Gen, where basically it's here. And we have to up all the facilities, 13 PSAP will have to have their CAD, RMS, which is records management, and the rest of their systems, and then internal IT equipment upgraded to handle what is being called ESINet. That's the term for the network that's being put in place by the state. Now, what the state's going to pay for is, for example, Atlantic County, our 13 PSAPs currently, if they just we don't do anything, they'll come in, the state will pay for everything up to the DMARC of the building. DMARC basically is where all the lines come in for communication. And basically, it's the backbone of that facility. Okay. What's happening is there's the Verizon network that's always run 911. A company that won the bid at the state is called Lumen. Lumen Technologies will now be taking that network called the Next Generation 911 network. And say we have a municipality that's not prepared to move to Next Generation 911. The state will also provide a what they call legacy gateway, okay, to stay on the old system for a limited amount of time until the systems are in place to handle the communication with the next gen system, or ESINet. With that being said, it includes a lot of equipment that is running these dispatch centers, from the call taking apps, CAD, records management system. You have a GIS, which is geospatial systems. We have a department in our county that we maintain a county base mapping. We've received a grant from the state to begin work, and it's already started. It's been awarded, and we have a company that is working what they call centerline data. That is to get away from, you're on a cell phone and you're between towers and it triangulates where you are. Whereas this system will basically geolocate you to your exact location. Okay, so that's the big win here as far as what this system is bringing to public safety. There's login recorders at each of these municipalities that have to be updated or replaced. There is IT equipment, which without being able to put personal eyes on internal equipment in these PSAPs, there is estimates in this study to give you an idea what these costs could be for the municipalities. Not saying that it's etched in stone there, but it's, there's no way for anybody to make a guesstimation of what it's going to cost unless you're in that building looking at this equipment. So call routing, we've discussed basically, it's pretty much a large project, but getting back to what's being put in place by the state, what's the state paying for these PSAPs? When I said that they're going to pay for everything up to the DMARC, they're also going to come in and do electrical work in these PSAPs. And then put a rack of equipment in from the state to run EZNet. Depending on the PSAP's place in where they're at with their upgrades, then that would determine if they're going to have a connection to the legacy gateway or just move directly to EZNet. I know it's getting kind of technical, and I'm sorry for that. But these are some of the things that really don't get talked about. They're just say, put them in place and let's go. This all has to be planned very carefully. And at this point, it is on the municipalities to make this move. Each 13 call centers.
I think that, yeah, you can go to the next slide, because this just kind of gives an overview of the rundown of how the whole thing would work when he spoke about different things. Location accuracy, improved data, safer communities.
Yeah.
You know,
that pretty much sums up in a slide everything that will be getting, the state will be getting with the EZNet being put in place for next generation 911.
And John, to be clear, so there's 13 PSAPs, so there's 13 individual cost factors versus one county cost factor for one center. So you have 13 PSAPs have to pay for the cost, or we look at one potential county dispatch center and one unified cost.
And since taking the position of 911 coordinator, I found out through meetings that each of these municipalities will have to have their vendors on site during a cutover, which is going to require them to have their CAD vendor, an RMS vendor, their IT department, obviously their radio console people, and the rest of it throughout the building that involves this dispatch center to be present during this cutover. And basically, we're trying to put this in play with, even though we're a year out, in my opinion, now's the time to say to the municipalities, which I have been, we have to start lining up these vendors that you're using, because this is not in place yet. So if it does become a project, a viable project, then we would be looking at this as well. But right now, like Danny said, it's on the 13 PSAPs to do these upgrades.
I don't want to. No, that was great.
Just
The
segue
whole-
into the summary.
Yeah,
You can go to the next slide.
Again, the critical piece here is, even though the state's paying for something, as you'll see in that cost analysis, you have the full report. AdCom has done an analysis. They've gone out and visited. They still believe it's going to cost the municipalities. And we say municipalities, when we say the 13 PSAPs, that includes the state police barracks is a PSAP. They get a lot of the calls on the western end of the county. Gloucester County, of course, is going to go. We're talking about the different, it's not just the municipalities, but they are estimating 1.5 million to 2 million per site just for each PSAP to come up on board. And then again, if you just extrapolate that, just think about what that's going to be, what it will cost over the whole county. Whereas as 21, if not 22, by the way, I know you've been following the news, Cape May County, fully central dispatch, including law enforcement. Chris Lusner, who some of you know, he's the former mayor of and police chief of Middle Township. He is now the OEM, the Office of Emergency Management Coordinator for Cape May County. I know Chief Lusner very well. He's willing to talk to anybody, but think about it. Cape May County is central dispatch now across the board. We're not. But again, the feasibility study says about 12 million to 15 million for Atlantic County to do it up front once we figure out. It doesn't need to be a new building. As you know, we've offered some suggestions on some existing structures, but that's down the road. So there's so much more that we can go. We really want you to understand. I know it's going to be next gen 911. We know we've taken a lot of your time. I generally feel that we have. I don't want to speak for the, I really feel that we've had your support. I know we've had your support. We just went for next steps. We are very appreciative of the county executive asking us to come and give this presentation to you. We apologize for taking so much of your time, but it's hot. it's a hot topic now. And some of us have been doing this for near 50 years. This is the last time you're going to get my passion in this. I know I don't want to speak for everybody else, but I really want to see this get done. I know a lot of you personally. We just want your support. We need your guidance. I don't know, to the chair, I don't know what the next step is as far as the board goes, but we're just asking, we are going to go AdCom in their contract. Mr. Kreischer certainly has worked with us. AdCom is willing to come out, do community meetings. We're probably going to have to come up with some regional meetings with some of the local officials. We'd like to have the public involved. We really think the public needs to understand this. With the county's support, we're really, I'm ready to go on the radio. We're ready to go to the news. We're ready to get this out there. I, for one, as a resident of Atlantic County, I don't want to see us number 23 anymore, okay? So we're really just looking for your thoughts, your assistance. We know in the regions that you represent, Commissioner Bertino has been coming to some of our, I'm just looking at.
Give me a project and a cost.
Yeah, and that's
Preach
it.
into the choir.
That's it. We're just got to get to those steps. But we really just have to convince the local officials and the
We're gonna do
public
it
that this
anyway.
is the way to go.
We're gonna do it anyway.
Yeah.
It's just the right thing to do for the public. That's right.
So with that, again, we truly apologize for taking a lot of your time, but we put in weeks into this.
And thank you so much for your time and consideration. And, you know, we speak from our heart. This is not, we're not just making up information, we're actually speaking from our heart and our experience. And that goes a long way, you know, as everybody knows. And until you have an incident where you're directly affected, you don't really understand the full realm and the full responsibility of what it takes from that initial 911 call to get into service there, to transport into a medical facility, and so on and so on. So thank you so much for your time and consideration, and we look forward to working with you coming forward to make this come to fruition.
And again, thank you to all the county officials. We mean that very sincerely. We really appreciate it. Mr. DeRosso and I have known each other since while I was young. He's still young. Okay, thank you.
Jim, I'm not coughing because of the comment. I'm sorry. Gentlemen, I want to thank you and thank everyone else who served on the committee, who put this all together for us. I know there are probably countless people that you didn't even mention that contributed their time. And again, you know, don't apologize for taking the time. I mean, we rely on everyone here for our safety, our family safety, our properties well-being. So again, it's the passion, and without us being on the front line, you know, we wouldn't understand where that passion comes from. So I do appreciate all of that. Thank you.
By the way,
Thank you. Are there any commissioner comments? Risley?
Thank you. A couple things. Number one, out of curiosity, you mentioned that the police are starting to warm up to this concept. Can you expound upon that?
well, when I say warm up, and I may call upon this guy who really dresses so well with his law enforcement background, because he goes to the chiefs of police meetings, and I used to when I was a court official. I believe they understand the technology. As you've seen, police chiefs are changing. I never want to come at the side of saying disrespectful, but I really do think the police departments, at least historically, tended to work, I hate the word silo, but they kind of worked in silo. They don't work mutual aid like we do. They don't have to work with the communities as much as we do for resources until there's a major incident. So I do believe that they historically used to like having local control of their local area. We've heard Mr. Kreischer, I remember when he was mayor. The last time, I remember him saying, hey, I want the dispatchers to live in the city of Ventnor. They don't live in the city of Ventnor, and they don't even know the streets in Ventnor, respectfully. It's all technology now. So I think in many ways, because we're having a little, I don't want to say forward-thinking, law enforcement's always been forward-thinking, but I do believe that it's shifting a little bit, Commissioner, because most of the leadership of the police departments have changed and they understand. And by the way, we have a lot of police officers that are volunteer firefighters. So I think that has helped significantly. I have police officers from Galloway Township in my little fire company in South Bay Carver. So I think that's helped too. You never used to see people crossing over the fence like that, but I think we just all understand. I could probably go into a lot more depth about ownership and desire to fight domes, if you
Howard,
will.
if I may, the one other factor to consider is we all know that taxes are going up in all the municipalities across Atlantic County. If there's a way to control that and streamline that with an effort like this, it could be appeasing to the elected officials and local governments, where maybe there is a cost savings for them, And maybe it's something that they're gonna have to pay for anyway, but maybe we pay for it together. And this is something they can look at and potentially save for their communities.
And law enforcement, I think they understand that.
I would also say that I fully agree with what Commissioner Bertino said. It's time. We have to make our mind up as a county to do this and move forward. We've been talking about it for decades. It's past time. And now with the 911 coordination, and hopefully we can get some relief down the road in Trenton so we can get the 911 monies that we are due in this county and in this state. All the counties are in the same situation. In your report, you list the thick report of the 44 pages or whatever it was that I read through, that we're one of the worst states, one of 5 worst states in the country that are about receiving 911 funds. So hopefully we'll get some change there in Trenton to help us out. But we have to make our mind up that we're going to do this and move forward. And the police, that's another subject, but we need to talk about your option B now and move forward with that, find a location and get this project moving.
And Commissioner, just one more thing, and you mentioned law enforcement, and I have spoken, and I do know that the county prosecutor, who certainly have a lot of pride working with the county prosecutor, he is also, when we use the one acronym I don't think we said was CAD system, that's computer aided dispatch. Right. And we now have different, even law enforcement has different technologies. The county prosecutor, who has already spoken, and I'm sure he will be of assistance to us, as will the county sheriff. They want a unified computer. Think about how much one uniform dispatch, computerized dispatch, will assist law enforcement too. So I wanted to add that in, is why I think law enforcement, which the director and I have certainly talked about in that regard. So the thoughts are going to keep spinning. So
I'll just add on that note on what you said, Commissioner Bertino, just for everyone's knowledge. I serve on the NJAC Legislative Committee, and NJAC, one of the recommendations sent to the state from NJAC, and I'll read it right from what they've sent to the state, prevent the state from diverting 911 fees to fund general operating expenses and make monies available for county 911 centers to regionalize, upgrade, or maintain a precise, accurate, and reliable communication network. That's right from NJAC's recommendations to the state this year. Absolutely.
Commissioner Parker, I sponsored a resolution passed calling on the state to start give the money back to counties. All of us are paying that 911 surcharge on our phone bills, and we're not receiving that money, the tax that we're being taxed.
Absolutely. So you're right. We're to the choir. We're all on board.
You have experience directing that as well. Are there any other commissioner comments this time?
Thank you for the work that you've done. This is amazing. I love how you explained the geolocate, because that's so important. We've all heard those stories about how a call goes in one street and it could have been just through the phone to another street or another town. That could be minutes or seconds. That's huge for public safety. Thank you guys. I know this is a lot of work and you're passionate about it. I think it's wonderful. I think it's important for you guys going out to the municipalities to tell them that you have the commissioners behind you. If we all do. I'm not speaking for anybody else.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, moving on to resolutions. And if you gentlemen want to head out, I mean, by all means, we won't be offended at all. So.
I would love to hear all the
We need to do the resolution. All right.
Butch, thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Yeah, good to see you. Thank you.
I give you a copy. Can you email this, scan it?
Sure, can you
Yeah.
leave it with the inspection?
Thank you very much.
Should make sure we all, yep,
Yeah,
should
thank you.
should make sure we all get a copy of that.
I'm sure you're a little tired
you.
right now.
Thank you.
Thank you for all your work.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
A little more like the crowd we're used to seeing now.
Resolution number 533.
For an application and acceptance from the New Jersey Department of Law and Public Safety for the Sexual Assault Response Team Forensic Nurse Examiner Program, funded amount $195,202, county in-kind match $48,801.
So moved.
Moved and seconded. Any commissioner comments? Any comments from the public? Let's call the roll.
Bertino.
Yes.
Burns.
Yes.
Days.
Abstain.
Gatto. Kern.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Risley.
Yes.
Days.
Yes. Resolution number 534.
Amending Resolution Number 161 adopted on April 4th, 2023, a grant from the Office of the New Jersey Attorney General for the 2023-24 Opt for Help and Hope Grant Program to extend the term date only, no additional cost.
Moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any commissioner comments? Any comments from the public? Please call the roll.
Bertino.
Yes.
Burns.
Yes.
Days.
Abstain.
Gatto. Kern.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Risley.
Yes.
Days.
Yes. Resolution 535.
Federal aid cost reimbursement agreement with the New Jersey Department of Transportation for fiscal year 25 federal aid funding for construction costs associated with the work on Summers Point Mays Landing Road, County Route 559 in Egg Harbor Township, and Pitney Road, County Route 634 in Galloway Township, amount not to exceed $3,097,393.61.
Move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any commissioner comments? Any comments from the public? Let's call the roll.
Bertino.
Yes.
Burns.
Yes.
Days.
Yes.
Gatto. Kern.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Risley.
Yes.
Days.
Yes. Moving on to professional services contracts. If any commissioners would like to discuss or remove any professional service contracts from the consent agenda, please indicate so now. Are there any comments from the public? All right, I'll entertain a motion to combine and adopt resolutions 536 through 537.
Moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. Please call the roll.
Bertino.
Yes.
Burns.
Yes.
Days.
Yes.
Gatto. Kern.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Risley.
Yes.
Days.
Yes. If any commissioners would like to discuss or remove any bid contracts from the consent agenda, please indicate so now. Okay. Hearing none, any comments from the public? All right, I'll entertain a motion to combine and adopt resolutions 538 through 542.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Please call the roll.
Bertino.
Yes.
Burns.
Yes.
Days.
Yes.
Gatto. Kern.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Risley.
Yes.
Days.
Yes. All right, any change orders? If any commissioners would like to discuss or remove any change orders from the consent agenda, please indicate so now. Hearing none. Any comments from the public? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to combine and adopt resolutions 543 through 546.
Moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Please call the roll.
Bertino.
Yes.
Burns.
Yes.
Days.
Yes.
Gatto. Kern.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Risley.
Yes.
Days.
Yes. All right, if any commissioners would like to discuss or remove any miscellaneous items from the consent agenda, please indicate so now. Actually, I would like to ask that resolution 548 be pulled just for further discussions. I know this was revised earlier. So I'll entertain a motion at this point. Excuse me. Are there any comments from the public? I'm sorry, on any miscellaneous items. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to combine and adopt resolution 547 and 549 through 552.
Move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Please call the roll.
Bertino.
Yes.
Burns.
Yes.
Days.
Yes.
Gatto. Kern.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Risley.
Yes.
Days.
Yes. This time, Terry, could you please read resolution 548?
Shared Services Agreement with Mercer County for the emergency housing of Mercer County juveniles at the Atlantic County Juvenile Detention Center, Harbor Fields, revenue generating.
Move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Are there any commissioner comments? 548? Jerry, I just asked it to be pulled because I know it was revised and discussed in a committee meeting yesterday. Can you please explain the revisions and what's different from what we saw originally?
Well, I wasn't there. I think there was a concern about that. We wanted to only use the facility for emergency purposes. So let me explain a little different than what you heard from our county council and assistant county council. So Mercer County does not have their own facility, but they do use other facilities in the state. They have contracts with at least 2 or 3 other youth detention facilities. What happens to them is they would call those contracted areas, as we did. We have contracts with all other 6 counties that have facilities. There are times where they can't accept the kid for whatever the reason. It could be that they're filled, could be that the kid doesn't meet the requirements for that facility. And so therefore, we were getting put in a position where we were holding kids, and you've heard some of those stories. We were holding kids in locations for longer than 6 hours by police, which is not allowed. So what happens to Mercer County is they wind up in the same situation. They make the call, can't get the kid placed. In our particular case, our numbers have gone down pretty significantly. We're down to like 10, 11 kids. We have 20 beds. So they would call the Juvenile Justice Commission. They'd call me, and it's always, I can tell you right now, it's always 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night. Can Mercer County get some help? So we do several things. One, do we have the beds? Obviously, I'm notified every day how many beds we have. 2, have you investigated the kid and the crimes that they committed? Do they fit into our particular facility? Do they have any gang relations? Are they substance abusers? Or are they the kind of kids that get in serious trouble when in their past history? If they go through all that and they feel comfortable, the Youth Service Commission gets back to me and says the kid's fine. From our perspective, we can handle the kid at our facility. And so then we wind up taking the kid. The third issue that we always handle is you've got to move the kid as quickly as you can. So they have the contracts with other facilities. So you will work with, and the person I normally deal with they have a state rep for programs. He does nothing but run all the programs from JJC, and then we have a superintendent from the JJC. So I usually deal with the 2 of them. So the object there is they would work with the facilities where Mercer has their contracts, move them as quickly as possible. And I explained to Commissioner Risley what would happen. So Jerry Del Razzo gets a phone call in Ocean County, and in Ocean County is one of their contractors. They have no beds available on Saturday night at 10 o'clock, but they know they go to court on Monday. Same thing we do. We have a detention diversion personnel that goes and sits in every court case, and they know that they're going to ask for this kid to be moved. So they know up front that kid is going to be moved on either Wednesday or Thursday of the following week. And so therefore, they know that they can call that individual and find out when the kid's going to get moved. So they move them to us. We then work with our superintendent, works with their superintendent to move the kid as soon as the kid is released in Ocean County, to wherever that kid is going to, either detention diversion program or the kid gets, sentenced to the Juvenile Justice Commission. So that's basically what happens.
Okay, I mean, I just know it wasn't that long ago that we were overflowing, and the prosecutor was involved, and NJAC was commenting about Atlanta County, and to the point where it was at National Night Out, and they're saying, well, prosecutor, people are saying that juveniles being released because there's no room in Atlanta County for them. Just wanted to make sure that once we agree to this, that we're not locked in to the point where we're overcrowded, and either people are being released or we're struggling to place them in some other county.
Right, and when we do that, that's all part of the conversation. We do have the beds available. We all know that. I mean, I can say we talk about it every day. So yes, the beds are available.
I mean, now are we still involved in legislation with?
We still have kids out, and I explained to Commissioner Risley that some of these kids are out because they cannot be in our facility for a variety of reasons.
Sure.
Those reasons I really can't discuss publicly
Sure.
because they're serious issues. They can't be in our facility. So that's why they're out of our facility. But every kid who can be in our facility has been brought back to the facility,
Gotcha.
except females.
Right.
We eliminated females because we learned during this one circumstance that we had probably last year and the beginning of this year is that we have a number of gangs in the local area. These kids have to be, I guess, they isolated. And so we use the female area to isolate these kids. So they're not in the same area where let's go, either it's a gang, where there was a murder committed, and the family of one kid with the kids who was the murderer in the same facility, they just isolate the kids. So that's why we don't have female. Right?
Okay. I mean, I know there was a lawsuit. I know that legal's going over this. I just don't want the public perception to be, that we're trying to make money at the expense of potentially having an overcrowded situation again, and we're trying to have our kids sent to other counties. That's my concern.
Jerry, where do we send our females?
Pardon me?
Where do we send our females?
Ocean County's been taking the females.
Yeah, Commissioner Risley.
Thank you. Yeah, initially I was very opposed to the initial resolution, the one with the revised language. I can certainly support. We had, as you recall, we had the prosecutor in here, the county prosecutor, and he gave quite a report and quite a dire outlook in regards to juvenile crime. And we all heard that report. It is my personal opinion, it's mine, that we need an additional facility. I think it's time that we do it. I think public safety is the number one item, most important item. That's why we're talking about centralized dispatch. That's why we're talking about this as well. Unless people suddenly turn to God and change their ways, we're going to continue to have situations like this. And I'm very concerned about our legal system being able to put these kids who have committed, and by the way, they've committed heinous crimes. These are not crimes that somebody stole food from the Wawa. These are heinous crimes. And, that's why I believe that we do need an additional facility. The other thing that bothers me is some counties charge different rates. Some are 700 and all kinds of crazy numbers. We've charged, I think, a fair number in 400. I would consider that a fair number in comparison to the other counties. But still in all, it's the problem is not going to go away.
Other commissioner comments?
Jerry, I think I had some, original, with the original resolution, I had some concerns as well. And the only question I had you answered was, were all the Atlantic County, did we get all of our kids back that could be housed? Before we started bringing kids from another county, did we bring those, kids that could be housed in Atlantic County closer to home where their families could be able to see them reasonably without having to travel up to North Jersey and just to see their kid?
Everybody that can be in the facility is there now, other than the two females.
Thank you.
Any additional commissioner comments? Is there any public comment this time? All right, Tara, please call the roll.
Bertino,
Yes.
Burns,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Gatto, Kern,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
Days.
No. Resolution 553.
Insert into the 2025 budget from the State of Pennsylvania Office of the Attorney General under the caption of High Intensity Drug Trafficking Areas Program 2023, $1,215.01.
Move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Are there any commissioner comments? Any comments from the public? All right, please call the roll.
Bertino,
Yes.
Burns,
Yes.
Days,
Abstain.
Gatto, Kern,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
Days.
Yes. I'll entertain a motion to combine and adopt resolutions 554 through 558, chapter 159s.
Moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any commissioner comments? None. Any comments from the public? Please call the roll.
Bertino,
Yes.
Burns,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Gatto,
yes,
Kern,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
Days.
Yes. I'll entertain a motion to combine and adopt resolutions 559 through 562, appointments.
Moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Are there any commissioner comments? Any comments from the public? Okay, please call the roll.
Bertino,
Yes.
Burns,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Gatto,
yes,
Kern,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
Days.
Yes. Resolution 563, roadway solicitation.
Authorizing consent for a roadway solicitation event by the Cardiff Volunteer Fire Company, number 1, at the intersection of English Creek Avenue, County Route 575, and West Jersey Avenue in the Township of Egg Harbor on Saturday, November 15, 2025, from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any commissioner comments? Comments from the public? Please call the roll.
Bertino,
Yes.
Burns,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Gatto,
yes,
Kern,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
Days.
Yes. Resolution number 564.
Resolution urging legislation in the state of New Jersey strengthening safety requirements for e-bikes and scooter operators. Sponsor Amy L. Gatto.
Moved.
move,
Moved and
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Kern. Are there any commissioner comments?
hey, Mr. Chair, apologies for being late, got it pulled into a work obligation last minute. But glad I could be here. The Public Safety Committee met on this resolution. We took input from some of the information that has been put out there from our prosecutor's office, and we also took a look at legislation coming out from our state legislators here in the district, and you'll see that all reflected in the resolution, as well as some Atlantic County and local stats around this issue. I think we've talked about the issue enough, importance of not only getting more safety requirements for e-bikes and scooters, but just getting the message out there about being vigilant in either operating or operating around one. And so we also added a specific component there at Commissioner Risley's suggestion that our municipal governments, as well as our local police departments, use the information to put out public service announcements related to this topic if they haven't already, and we know a number has. And so we're hoping to just kind of amplify the voice on this, and also serves as a source of some information for our municipalities. And appreciate your support. It is recommended by the Public Safety Committee.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other commissioner comments?
I just want to make
Commissioner
one comment to see if Mr. Fedorko had any input, because he was part of that meeting and had some information from some committees or, agencies that you're on.
Yeah, I had talked to the head of state police prior to our meeting with the Public Safety Committee, and the colonel is working with the Senate President on legislation.
Hey, Mike, can you go to the area?
Oh, sorry,
Thank you.
sorry. The head of the state police, the colonel of the state police has met with the Senate President, Senator Castori, to work on this law. This has to be legislation, obviously. And interestingly enough, the state police and even the local police accident reports, there's no indication for electric bikes. So that has to be something that's included in there when they print these up. But it's hopefully it's going to get done this year, because this is a problem. We've had a couple of kids get killed here, and one seriously hurt. So, and they don't pay attention to the traffic laws. They go through red lights. You see it all the time. The kids aren't wearing helmets. So,
And did you say have other areas done any resolutions like this, or are we the first body to do something?
I think we're the first. I haven't seen anything from any of the other counties yet. So this is good. I mean, if we get this out, this will be fantastic.
Yeah, we appreciate your support as well, man.
Thank you. Any additional commissioner comments this time? I know I attended the Mayor's Association meeting a little over a week ago, and this was a topic of conversation at the Mayor's Association. And honestly, without even any of my students knowing that we were talking about this in school today as well, because some students knew some children who got hurt in Atlantic County. The coworkers were talking about that as well. So it's unfortunate that it's come to this, but you said there's no training for them. They're I think one incident, the helmet was actually on the backpack of the kid that was hurt. So yeah, thank you everyone that worked on this resolution. So, and are there any comments from the public? Okay, please call the roll.
Bertino,
Yes.
Burns,
Yes.
Stays,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Kern,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
Days.
Yes, I'll entertain a motion to combine and adopt resolutions 565 through 566.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any commissioner comments? Any comments from the public? Please call the roll.
Bertino,
Yes.
Burns,
Yes.
Stays,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Kern,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
Days.
Yes. Moving on to the next agenda item, written communications. We've all received copies of written communications and petitions. Are there any commissioner comments on anything they've received? Hearing none, are there any reports of special committees of the board? Commissioner Bertino?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. At the last ACUA meeting, there was a discussion on a proposed judicial consent order that was brought by the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection to settle claims against 3M Company for PFAS contamination at specific sites in New Jersey. Apparently, a few sites had went to the state and asked them to intercede on their behalf to try to clean up this material. The proposed settlement would require 3M to pay up to $450 million over 25 years. The proposed settlement, as drafted, releases 3M from any future liability for PFAS-related claims and prioritizes compensation to address the drinking water issues in schools, daycare centers, and residences only. And it leaves out New Jersey local government groups like the ACUA, Solid Waste or Wastewater Division, out of that settlement. If the ACUA was to, because if this passes through, this material has to be taken out, either out of our wastewater side or even out of our soils. This material is actually in everything. The ACUA at the wastewater side estimated that the cost is around $6 million to treat its landfill leachate, just to pull this material out of the landfill. Leachate, of course, is the stuff that you get at the bottom of the landfill as the material rots down. Currently, if this judicial consent order passes, the cost would fall on the ACUA users. That's all of us here in Atlantic County. The ACUA passed a resolution opposing the JCO and asking the NJDEP to revise the proposed settlement to ensure that we all retain the right to pursue future claims for any PFAS-related damages. This could be expensive. The PFAS materials are found in soil. They're in indoor and outdoor air. They're in your foods. They're used in cosmetics, pesticides, non-stick cookware, food packaging, carpeting in your house.
And everything.
It's in everything because it's like a fire retardant is the best way of saying it. They're widely used because they are highly resistant to water, oil, grease, and heat. So that resolution they're doing, I'm going to suggest that we prepare a resolution as well from the county side and asking the DEP and NJDEP as well to modify this draft proposed JCO that they have out there to at least allow them to look at it before they approve this thing. ACUA has already did a resolution at their last meeting. And I suggest that we do one as well. I guess I could work with the guys if the board so deems fit. I think we should
I'll work with Ken, our solicitor, and have one prepared for the next meeting.
Sure. Question, how serious is this
Very.
It's
chemical or whatever it is?
the material is probably, I imagine it's a contaminant because somebody brought charges to the NJDP up North Jersey. And that's why they took the action with 3M. The trouble is that when you take action specific to a specific group or area, or for just daycare centers and schools and their water, you're leaving out everybody else. And if 3M, if that proposed settlement goes through, everybody else is forced to mitigate and get rid of this material, which you're going to have to get rid of, falls on everybody who the users are. It could be, I don't have to tell you, the numbers that they're throwing around.
Staggering.
They're staggering. So obviously it's a concern. Another issue, in talking with Joe Pantalone a little bit about the material is after you sort it out, because you can filter, there's different materials you can do to do. Where do you dispose of it at?
Where are you going to put it? Yeah,
Where are you
that's
gonna put
Once
it?
they abstract it, where are you going to? You can't put it back in the landfill.
Can't put it in a landfill.
So where are we going to put it?
So it's an involved issue. And as I said, I wanted to bring it to the board's attention.
Not only that, if I may,
Mr. Parker.
99% of all Americans have this plastic in our bloodstream. That's something that we have no idea what the ramifications of that is. I guess we'll all find out as we continue to live, I guess, but it's a big deal. It's not enough money. And if think about cleaning up any site, right? We could be cleaning this up for 10, 15, 20, 30 years. And if we accept this money now, who's paying for that? Who's paying for mitigation? Who's going to clean it up? Where's the money coming from? And it's going to fall into the ratepayers, which is going to fall back to the taxpayers. So that's just it just can't happen. Can't happen that way. This company made a lot of money, with the non-stick pans and everything else that they've done, a lot of money. And for them to get off the hook without having to clean it up, and then to say that the American people are walking around with this in our bloodstream, and we're going to fund and have to pay for figuring out, what we can do, because they haven't figured out how to take it out of the bloodstream yet. That hasn't happened. They can't be abstracted from out of our blood, right? So what are we going to do? I don't know.
Those impossible situations.
The most impossible of situations.
Initially, of course, is to try to intercede and ask the DEP do not settle the claims specific to the case that's been presented. You're going to have to leave it more open-ended, or you're going to have to, it needs a more further discussion at the state level. And one other thing, while we're touching on that, the Solid Waste Advisory Council, SWAC, met. We had a meeting the other night. The ACU engineering firm, SCS Engineers, presented their draft solid waste management plan update. This is the next 10-year plan. As you guys know, we operate under a solid waste management plan here in Atlantic County, where all the trash, everything is outlined and guidelines that we have to hit to achieve state levels on disposal, and what we're doing with our recycling and everything else has been in the plan. The new plan is that they're presenting at the moment, and it's a draft form, is trying to meet the state's new goal of 50% reduction in food waste disposed of in your municipal trash by 2030, which is 5 years away. So that means any of the stuff that people would throw into their trash that's food related, they want it taken out, at least 50% of a reduction in the next 5 years. The state's mandating that. So if it go to the landfill, that trash has to go someplace else. So that's a state issue that they want us to meet. That's going to be discussed, and I think we're going to call a solid waste advisory committee meeting to start to discuss some of the ramifications and how we intend on trying to meet those guidelines before the plan is presented to the board for us to approve of it, because it's going to impact us and the users here in Atlantic County for the next 10 years. So also the state is asking that in the solid waste stream, 60% of the total waste, some of that stuff gets taken out and gets beneficial reuse. I don't know what that meant, but I think they're looking for, these are all state laws that they put in through the state, that they're asking anybody that's a landfill operator, anybody that disposes of trash to meet the new guidelines. This next 10-year plan is going to have some of that into it. as far as Atlantic County handling how it disposes of trash. So I think we're going to be talking about what their thoughts are on it, and I'll get back to the board and let you guys know. But I'm definitely will reach out with this committee. We'll call for a solid waste advisory committee meeting to discuss it with.
So, I mean, I imagine that would have a huge impact potentially on the restaurant industry. I mean, I know a lot of them would look at pig farms and other uses, but
It's in everything.
Yeah,
It's in everything.
it'll be
no,
like
I'm talking about the food waste
Food
as well.
food waste. A lot of people, like we discussed that night, if you're in a rural, I live on a farm, I don't throw that material in the trash. So it's real easy for me, but tell somebody that's living in an apartment complex, what do I do with all the trash I got? They don't have digesters. They don't have, there's different things you'll see in the market today that companies are coming out, but everything they come out to do that stuff, of course, is a cost involved. And there's also, where do I put the material after it's done? Breaks everything down to fluids. It's got to be disposed of. So that's why I said this is one of those things. Everybody at the state level, they got wonderful thoughts and great ideas, implementation, and I don't know how they expect everybody to be able to come around and do that. I think Atlantic County Health Department's going to get involved in this as well as this moves forward in the plan. But we'll be discussing some things to keep your eyes open for.
Sounds great. Another state mandate without pay.
Well,
Are there any other reports of special committees of the board?
Before we move on from that, Mr. Chair, I just want the board to know that September 26th, Monmouth County Board of County Commissioners adopted a resolution opposing just what we're speaking about. So it's already begun.
The NJDEP Saturday stuff, the draft,
Right.
they already presented their issue on it. Of course, they're not in favor. No one would be in favor of it. So
Okay. Is there any unfinished business? Any new business? Now move on to public comment. Anyone attending in person that would like to speak now with public comment, please come to the podium, speak into the microphone, state your name and the town in which you reside. If you're attending virtually and like to make a public comment, please raise your hand. I will call your name and a request to unmute will be sent. Please state your name and the town in which you reside. You will be provided up to 3 minutes to speak. Any public comment? All right. All right. At this point, entertain a motion to close public comment.
Move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any comments for the good of the order?
Just want to have one comment. I just want to thank Jerry DeRosso. Thank you so much. And Director Federico, thank you, Jerry, for setting up various meetings for me to go and visit the various facilities. I've been to 4 so far, ACUA, Canal Center, Valley Center, as well as to the King Knight Training Center. I've been very, very impressed, very, very well run. And I want to thank you. I'm looking forward to visiting the rest of the facility.
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Parker.
good of the order, I'm going to, by 2032, more than half of all jobs will be reshaped by artificial intelligence. Commissioner Risley and I we attended a meeting with our executive and some of our department heads on AI. We've already begun the process of using AI in some of our departments, right? And so I just want the county to keep this on the top of our heads. And we're going to have to at some point come up with some guidelines to guide what's already happening here in our county. It's already here. AI is not the future. I keep hearing AI is the future. That's not true. AI is the present. It's already here. And so we're going to have to really take some time to consider how we're going to strategically make sure that Atlantic County is at the front of it and not being reactive, but being proactive in terms of AI.
I know you and county administration, a lot of department heads have already put a lot of effort into that, making that happen.
There's a lot going on behind the scenes. I just wanted to say while the cameras are rolling for the public's sake. And also on November 12th, Jerry, I believe it is, there's a mandatory meeting training about the ethics of AI. And so we're going to use it those are all the kind of things that we're going to need to talk. I know county council has been very helpful. Ken Warren has been very helpful. Before we do anything, and I know I'm preaching to the choir, to the commissioners, but I want the public to hear this as well. Before we do anything, as commissioners, we can come up with grand ideas, or, you know, we can have these thoughts about what we want to do, but we have to make sure we check with legal before anything happens, you know. And so, you know, legal knows I want them, you know, whatever we're doing, I think we're all in agreement that we want to kick the tires as much as possible, and make sure that we have it right. Whatever we do, we want to make sure we get it right here in Atlantic County. So there's no rush to really put anything out. But with that said, we have to be mindful that we're already in the process of piloting some of this within some of our departments as we speak. So there's going to have to be some guideline that comes from the legislative branch, which is us, that protects us from anything that may happen in the future. Just something I wanted to put for the good of the order.
Sounds good. That meeting is going to be led by AI Chair Del Rosso. So.
Well, here at the meeting,
he's
listen, you laugh, but Risley was there. I think Jerry was the leader in using it for the county, the system in the county. It shows the use of each person and what they're using it for, which is pretty amazing. And so Jerry was kind of leading the way in terms of that. They thought they were pretty funny at the meetings. So if Jerry can use AI, there's no excuse for the rest of us to be able to get in AI. Is that right, Jerry?
I mean, I can only imagine. I mean, Jerry's doing 20 million things every hour. So,
but there's so much to it though, and I won't go too deep into it. But there's so much to it, and there are different AI systems. There's all kind of things where AI can hallucinate, you know, so you don't know if you're getting accurate information. Like, there's all kind of nuances that are out there that if we are going to be using it, we're going to have to make sure that, you know, we put the guidelines together. We're also looking, on that note, NJAC also had some language in some of the recommendations that went from the legislative body committee from NJAC to the state to come up with guidelines for each county and each municipality to be able to, you know, responsibly take this task on. That's something that's going on as well.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other comments for the good of the order?
So,
I'll entertain it. Oh, sorry, Commissioner Gatto.
sorry, so Mr. Chair, Andrew, I didn't hear what you and Chris were at, but did we have like a special committee of Board of Commissioners to be like a AI technology committee to be focused on this? Or do we?
You were breaking up a little, Commissioner Gatto, but I think I understand what you're asking. We don't exactly have one now. The chair and I think the conversation just as this morning, we were talking about where we would send a resolution to look at this. And I think we landed on code.
Initially county code. I mean, if we're going to
County
have to make changes or even adopt a brand new ordinances to make this happen, I think that'd be a good start. But I mean, I'm not opposed to any other, after our future meetings, if any other committee wants to be established to look at it in more detail as far as what IT may need from a technology standpoint.
Well, part of it, once we get to that point though, I think a resolution is going to be coming pretty soon. Maybe at our next meeting, Commissioner Gatto. And part of that resolution is the recommendation is for us to create more committees because we don't exactly have a subcommittee that deals with just this. So I think we may have to consider one of the recommendations that's inside of the resolution to create a new committee that's going to be focused just on some of the procedural and ethical issues and of AI and how we're going to use it and when we can use it and when we can't use it, what we can ask it for, what we can't ask it for. All those things are going to be very, very important as we move forward. So,
but we need a resolution to do that, or can the chairman just a subcommittee?
Well, I mean, I think if we're talking about a county code, I mean, that's why initially I talked about the county code committee looking at, and Commissioner Parker had mentioned a resolution, because it's such a nuanced, detailed issue. I mean, like you said, legal is involved. There's so many different people involved before we have an actual ordinance to come. I think the point of the resolution was to kind of just, again, alert the public and kind of align things as need be as things come up.
And we know it's going to be and here's what we know. We know it's going to be a work in progress, right? We know even no matter what happens, no matter what we draft, no matter what state guidelines come up, because AI is so new, we know that it's going to be an ongoing, this is something that's going to be ongoing, you know, and it's going to be a living document, and we're going to be learning as we're going, because that's what we're doing with AI, right? So it's brand new. So,
Well, okay, we can take it offline, but I mean, this isn't, corporations have guidelines in place. You know, there's companies that can help guide us through this very easily. They do it every day. So like, I'm happy to be part of a conversation if you want. But I think it's worth a special AI like task force chairman, rather than kind of handling things as a one-off, looking at it more strategically.
No, I agree, and I think that's what Commissioner Parker mentioned, that down the road. I mean, and it's not going to, like you said, it's going to be a one-off. It's going to be as things progress, what ordinances need to change, and as the state continues to discuss it, how can we piggyback and make sure that what the county's doing is aligned with what the state is allowing counties to do and how to use it. So I definitely foresee that happening down the road. I think the point of and again, Commissioner, I may be wrong, Commissioner Parker. The point of the resolution was to kind of, I guess, announce what the county's intentions are without having concrete ordinances in place.
that's right. That's right. And so it was brought up to maybe skip the resolution at one point, and we thought about that and talked about that, but we kind of backtracked on that a little bit and said, listen, maybe we should start with the resolution and then build to an ordinance, you know, and again, you're right, Commissioner Gatto, that's a conversation. These conversations should not be, you know, one-offs or anything like that. And it needs to be some sort of committee or task force. And I think the resolution can kind of help make that happen, I guess. But we do need to move forward. You know, I do feel, I feel strongly about that we don't have the kind of time that I think we imagine we do have. I think this is something that we're going to have to move forward. We should move, you know, forward with, at least starting the process just to protect the county. You know, and I'm not even at a point now where I'm talking about how to strategically use it to kind of streamline services, or I'm not even talking on that end. I'm just talking about on the end of making sure that we're protected, right? Because if it's being used and there's not a lot of guidelines around it, then that just leaves the door open for the county to be liable in so many different places. And that's just, so we do need to have something coming from legislation, and that's us. And so we do need to figure out what that's going to be, whether it's a resolution that starts a committee, a task force, as we mentioned, and then that task force now goes in and really digs deep and dives deep into, what we're going to be doing. Part of, and I'll say this, the training that's going to be on November 12th, there's a retired judge, Judge Hedge, that's going to be, talking to us about the ethical side. And he's, drafted a lot of amazing research. I've dug into his research over the last few weeks and, tried to look at what we have, if it lines up with what his research is suggesting we need to have. So we do have some professionals that are looking at this. Like I said, our attorneys are also looking at it. The county council's looking at it. So we do have some professionals looking at this. It's not just something that's coming from this commissioner's board, and our professionals are looking at it as well. So we do have a team, but I think we need to figure out how we're going to formalize that team, as Commissioner Gatto saying, into some sort of committee or task force or something, so that they will be charged with this work and it's not just kind of happening. So
Okay, well, this is part of what I do every day. So if you want me to help, I'm happy to help.
Absolutely.
Sure. Yeah, by all means. All right. Anything else for the good of the order? Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Aye.
All right. Meeting's adjourned.